Welcome to readtheticker.com. Today we're going to talk about the importance of channels. Here we're looking at the European Stock Index Best 50. The data goes from 1987 to the current time. The more data you have going back, the better it is. Now we can use our quick draw tools to get a feel of the chart. For example, a quick draw guide here, and to find a channels, here we are, channels, it's hold down the key C and select 3 points. Okay. We can also use a trend line, which is holding down T. For example, we can do T, yeah, that's down that way. We can do a horizontal line, we can do that. What have you, you might want to do something else, like a trend line down here. And obviously this is what everybody normally sort of does. They get a feel of what the price action is, and here's C support. They probably call that a descending triangle, I would think. But in a sense, due to the change in price action and this big move up here from 1500 to 5000, this price action here is pretty much nullified. To get around that, it's best to convert the chart into log format. So we'll convert that to log. Now we get a better representation of price action for time series. So obviously we can still do our horizontal lines if we wish, and our trend lines. Okay, whatever. Double click to remove them, by the way. Now what I'm after to draw a channel which is influencing price action. Now to find a channel that influences price action, it's best to start off with a trend line that has many pivots around it. For example, you might start drawing lines like holding down the T key, drawing trend lines like this. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of 5 points, but nothing over here, of course. So we might draw that one to that pivot point. Yeah, okay, well, it's not very good, that one. We might try, down here. Obviously, that's not going to be very good. Only 2 pivots there. You might try this line here. We don't really want to draw the points over here, so that's a good one. We've got 1 point there, 1 point there, that point there, and this point here. That's quite influential. In fact, that one there was only 2 points. That sort of works, but it ignores all the data back here. Well, let's have a go. We did a channel back here like this. We did that point there, 3 points. I think we went to there, did we? Yes, no, that doesn't work. Not a lot going on here. But after some investigation, I found that the best trend line, they had a lot of influence, or something like this. Covered all the data. Am I doing that correctly? But try it again. There we go. Nah, it's not quite right. I'm just try that. Nope. That's it. Okay, so here we've got pivots on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a pretty powerful trend line action because prices respected it. So what I want to do is I draw a channel that has that trend line within it. And I found that this channel is the best. 3 points, that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we are. That's even more interesting. So here we have the main channel between that point there and these 2 points here. We found that this lower outer trend line marries up to the bottom pivots here. You might not think that's very important, but when you actually draw a middle channel, so if I highlight another channel in between these 2 channel lines, you find that it sort of gets halfway in the channel. That's quite interesting. Here it sits on halfway. And as you can see through there, if I draw the halfway line through there, it sits on that as well. If I can obviously draw something, but so I'm using the quick draw tools to do a investigation into the price action to see how everything fits before I actually get down and draw the line. For example, here's the half channel here, so these are the main channels here, and the half channel actually finds support here with this inverted head and shoulders, and this current price action here is holding it down. So that's quite influential. So obviously if I bring it back down any further here, you'd find that line here goes all the way back down here. It sits, and these pivot points sit on that. So in my mind, go away. So in my mind, this channel here best represents this price action for the European stock price index for 50 stocks. So now that's my desired outlook for a channel. I find it most influential, something I want to watch. It covers all the data way back to here. The channel's been influenced by 3 points here, 1, 2, 3. Not really been influenced by anything in the last 10 years. So this is all working. So it's not curve fitting. I'm just pointing about it as this price action was determined here. There might be other sub channels you can draw. You can add those in later. Now, how we draw channels to save in readtheticker.com, we've done our investigation what we want. Now we want to find the dates and the pivot points. I normally go down to here, and you can either draw what we do 50, see what that looks like on weekly data. Add our date pivots. Alright, okay, so we can get the dates here, or I can turn on the cursor data. There's the cursor data. I get the dates from down here. The dates from placing my cursor above the price box. There's my dates there. Or if I was a little bit lazy or whatever, I can actually turn the dates on into the price boxes. There's my dates in the price boxes, so I can actually start writing things down. So after getting my dates that I need 3 dates. I need point 1 here, which is about the 6th of the 14th, 1991, 3rd the 7th, 2003, and I also needed a point here. I remember it was about the 7th to 17th, 1998. So I needed those 3 points. Went to my channel data, and I loaded them in. I selected 2 divisions, outer channels both, price on closes, and then I drew my channel. But as I've already done it, I'm just going to reactivate my channels, because down here, I can show and hide the objects on the chart by just turning off the object group. I reactivated the object group. Okay, so here's our long-term channel. I don't really want the dates at this stage. Turn the dates off. Okay, turn the cursor off. Don't need that. Right, so here's our final channel that I like to want to store. So that's my leading influential channel on the European stocks. As you know, the European situation is quite interesting at the moment, so I want to keep on what's going on. So when I draw my middle channels, I just hold my key down on C, select 3 points. As you can see here, what was support is now resistance, the price action, and that looks pretty bearish to me. It's held there. We had the pump up here with the central bankers. So now we're getting all sorts of issues with Cyprus. So what's the next leg? So let's have price action around here is going to go back down here. It's going to be very interesting. So if you wanted to draw other channels, you might start investigating once again to find influential channels in the short term. No, that doesn't work. But as like I said before, it might be these 2 points here. Looks pretty interesting. It doesn't work either. As you can sort of say, but anyway, that's what I've got there. So what I've done is I've stored a long-term channel there, and then I also like to, as I've got 1,362 weeks in that, I like to focus in the current price action, but I wish to maintain this channel structure. So what I do is I copied this chart. I ended up with a close-up one of the weekly data. This is exactly the same chart, but only having 750 weeks in it. So I just cut the weeks down sort of near half. I've taken exactly the same channel with exactly the same dates. I go here. All I did simply was actually double the divisions. Okay, the dates are exactly the same as that long-term chart, and just double the divisions to give me an idea of the support and resistance of the channel lines. And as you can see here, the price has bounced off that channel line there and bounced back up to there with resistance, and it's been pretty solid. This line here held here, up to there, down to here. And so it's a pretty good channel to keep an eye on. Obviously, the current concern have failed there. It's forming a top up here, so it's not going to hold. It's going to go down. Got a few dates, and so that's how channeling with your price action can show some pretty influential view on the stock index. We've also you can within readtheticker.com. I have a folder called D.1, the big channels for RTT Plus members, and we've channeled other data which was very important. For example, the Australian US dollar cross, which is the ETF called FXA. Here it is. I've got the data going back to 1972, big channel. As you can sort of see, it works pretty well here. Take my middle channel, using my quick draw channel tool. You can see the middle line is pretty important there as well. Obviously, if I draw my channel up here, see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty important. Point there, point there. At the moment, we're in the middle of that channel there. If I draw this channel here, you can see that we're right on the important time for the Australian US dollar, because it's right on that trend line there. So if it doesn't hold, it's going south. If you want to get a close-up of that, just go to my next one, and that's a close-up of the exact same chart, but just with fewer weeks showing. Exact same chart, exactly the same channel with fewer weeks. So what do I do? I can draw my. You can obviously save these channels whenever you wish to, but I just draw them in quickly to see what it looks like. It's not the same one, is it? What did I do? Might have been that one. Those 3 points. Yeah, it probably looks about right. Then I take another middle one here again. I mean, you can have channels for Africa, of course, and see how this trend line here is holding up there. It's just holding that consolidation up there. Everyone's been looking at big consolidation, sideways consolidation, but in truth, it's a very tenuous position at the moment. If it doesn't hold, all the managers around the world are going to say this is gone, and it's going to go down. It might just punch up, you never know, last desperate bid to get a bit higher. So for example, that's the Australian dollar, and the other we have, here's one going back, I think, to 1900. Australian All Ordinaries. Here we go. Okay, this actually channel goes all the way back to the 1930s. Very well disciplined channel. You know, the sell-off in there bounced directly on the line. The recession in 91, 1987, stock market crash comes down, holds here, bounce off in the late 1980s or something. This is 1982. That was the oil crisis, I think, if I remember rightly. Oh, right. And if you see here, if I draw this middle channel in here, the top is right on the middle channel. I get a close-up, exactly the same chart, but a close-up, the same channel. Here we are there, right top, right there. As you can sort of see, the Australian index is right on very critical time for the Australian index. As I spoke about the Australian dollar, critical time there. So it's at resistance, a 3-point resistance. So if you're an Elliott Wave guru, you might say it's a big fat 5. That's an A. Here we're at a B with 3 tops there, and a pretty strong resistance pattern, and a C just might be all the way down to 3,000 or 2,500. I won't get into the fundamentals, but a crisis in China which actually forces a slowdown in Australia could be quite severe. Okay, obviously we have lots of other charts. You can go in here if you're an RTT Plus member and see the work I've done. But the importance of doing channels, you want as much long-term data as possible. You want to see the most influential channels that sit within the price action and that have guide the big percentage moves. For example, from here to here, it's a good 15-20% move. Big money's made on the big percentage moves, so you need big channels to monitor the big percentage moves. Thank you for watching.